Bradford City have today confirmed that midfielder Cory Evans has left the football club upon the expiration of his contract, and in today's video you're going to find out my full thoughts on this departure. Now, as we all know, Cory Evans was brought in around October time to provide a bit of competition and cover when we went through that major injury crisis, especially in the middle of the pack. He came in, and from the games that I saw of him, it looked a pretty competent player, but has massively struggled with injuries, and I think whichever way the club went with Cory Evans, I would have definitely supported that decision. Graham Alexander said after the win against Grimsby that they've not really had time to sit down with Cory Evans and Paul Huntington and discuss what their futures do look like, so they were going to do it after the busy Christmas period. We now obviously have confirmation that the midfielder will leave Bradford City, probably today. But the club tweeted today at midday saying Cory Evans has left the club following the expiration of his contract. Everyone at Bradford City would like to thank him for his services and wish him all the best for the future. The article does then read, Evans departs. Bradford City can confirm Cory Evans has left the club following the expiration of his contract. The experienced midfielder featured 9 times in all competitions during his stay in BD8, with 6 of his outings coming in Sky Bet League 2. Everyone at Bradford City wishes Cory the best for the future and thanks him for his services to the club. Now, obviously he is 34 years of age, and like I mentioned earlier, he has struggled with injuries throughout his time with Bradford City, and I think he was out with, was it an ACL injury or a broken leg, a very long-term injury with Sunderland, struggled to find a new club in the summer. We eventually picked him up in around October time on a deal until January, and we're going to kind of assess his fitness, his quality, and I think they're two very different things. His quality is still there, his fitness I'm not so sure. The amount of times they'd have to be subbed off after around the hour mark due to cramp or just unavailable for matches due to being injured. I think he struggled with a lot of calf injuries throughout his time with Bradford City, so that was certainly the frustration with him, because when he was on the pitch 9 times out of 10 he was a really good player. I think he's still more than competent enough to play around mid-table in League One. If he went to Mansfield, somewhere like that, a Stockport, I think he'd do really well there. It's just a big shame about his injury problems. If we have a look then at Cory Evans' spell with the football club, as you can see, he made 6 league appearances in total, just one of them being a start. I believe that was our 1-0 win at home to Swindon. He only averaged 19 minutes per game and only played just over 100 minutes in 3 months, something like that. That's simply nowhere near good enough. Obviously no goal contributions, but he did have an 83% passing accuracy, which I don't think is too shabby. 40% of his long balls were accurate. In terms of some of his defensive statistics, he averaged 0.2 interceptions per game, 1 tackle per game, 1 ball recovered per game, and 1 clearance per game as well. He won 55% of his ground duels and 75% of his aerial duels. So like I mentioned, statistically and with the eye test, he was a very good player for Bradford City. He was just hardly fit, hardly available, and to only manage the 1 start in 3 months in the league is nowhere near good enough. If you look at his last couple of matches played, he's played once a month the last 3 months of Bradford City. It's nowhere near enough, and I do believe the club have made the right decision in not giving out these longer term contracts to players who are just not fit enough. We can go out and get someone who might not necessarily be of the quality of Cory Evans, but he's going to be more available, and that is more useful. The best ability is availability, in my opinion. Before we do go any further though with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? That would be massively appreciated, and don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on Bradford City not offering Cory Evans a new contract, and he has now left the football club? What sort of standard do you think Cory Evans is still able to play at, but do you think his injury problems are going to cost him maybe a longer term contract somewhere else? In terms of how Bradford City's squad is now lining up for the 2024-25 campaign, I have moved Brandon Kayla from the DM position up into the kind of number 8, number 10 sort of positions, as there was a fair few comments from different people saying he is more of a box-to-box midfielder rather than your natural holding midfielder. So again, we are now a little bit light in that position. I still do believe there will be more business to be done. We'll probably find out the future of Paul Huntington in the next couple of days or so. I would like to see him stay, but again, he's in a similar position to Cory Evans. He looks like a good player, but he is struggling with injury problems, obviously injured at this moment in time. I would assume that whether they're released or they do stay, especially if they are released, they will continue to be with Bradford City until they're fully fit. That to me would just be, you know, the nice thing to do, considering they did get injured while playing for the football club. It is a big shame. Obviously, the main position where we need to improve in is that striker department, with strong rumours now coming out that Andy Cook is out for the season. The rest of the competition there is nowhere near good enough. We need to get some serious firepower in there. Obviously, if there is official confirmation about Andy Cook being out for the season, I'll bring out a special video talking about potential replacements and all that sort of stuff. But with Josh Stones confirmed to York City for £350,000 with no EFL goals, absolutely bonkers money. But I would like to see us go for Michael Mellon, maybe a Michael Cheek, as well as a bit more of a shorter term replacement. But we do still need to get some bodies out the door. We're heavily bloated in the centre back department, even the midfield department as well. I'd still like to see us get another left wing back in as a bit more competition for Lewis Richards, because I think he's been really good recently, and obviously the future of a few loan players is still up in the air at this moment in time. But we do certainly need to bring in another natural holding midfielder. As good as Richie Smallwood is, I'm a big fan of him, and he very rarely gets injured. I don't think he's picked up a single injury throughout his time with Bradford City. We still do need another option in there, because when we play these EFL trophy games, I know Smallwood's able to play in all these sort of matches, but you don't want to overplay him because he is now 34, 35. Having that rotation was always nice, but with Corry Evans hardly being available, we need someone who's going to be consistently fit enough to play in there. I know people like Patterson, Lapsley, Walker, Sarsvik, they can do that job if you really need them to, but I'd still like to see us get a little bit more competition in that position. And whether Corry Evans stayed with Bradford City or left, I would have supported it either way, because if he stayed and he picked up a few more injuries but was available for a couple more games, I would have taken that, to be honest with you, because, you know, it's not me paying his wages, and I do think he is a good player when fit. But from a budget point of view, why waste money? Say we're paying Corry Evans £1,500, £2,000 a week. Why waste that money on a player who's hardly going to be available when you can spend that money on someone who might not necessarily be of the quality of Corry Evans, might be a little bit lower, but they're going to be available for a lot more matches. Corry Evans did manage 2 starts in the Football League Trophy for Bradford City, at home to Rotherham and away to Stockport County. Obviously did quite well in the match away at Stockport. 2 games, 2 starts, 132 minutes played, so he played way more minutes in 2 games in the Football League Trophy than he did in 6 games in the league. So he wasn't really getting them league minutes even when he was fit and available, because of how consistent Richie Smallwood has been for the large part. In his own half, every single one of his passes in the Football League Trophy this season were accurate. That is crazy. Defensive stats, though, they look absolutely excellent. 1 interception per game, 2 tackles per game, 5 balls recovered per game, and 1 clearance per game as well. That is absolutely excellent, winning 40% of his ground duels and only 25% of his aerial duels. So he's much better in the air in the league than the Football League Trophy. But I do think whoever picks up Corry Evans, if you can keep him fit and available, you've got yourselves a hell of a player for the lower part of the Football League. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on Bradford City not offering Corry Evans a new contract with the football club, and he has now left upon the expiry of his contract? Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.